Well, hello folks, how are things? And you're all very welcome to another Sligo live stream lock-in. And I'm Daithi Gormley, and I'm delighted to be playing tonight on the Hearts Corner House website in the lovely Riverstown, County Sligo. We're here in a lovely little place called Bloomfield, just sat right between Riverstown and Ballintor, a lovely quiet area. And I suppose I spent a lot of my early years playing up in Riverstown and would have played in Hearts quite a lot, and would have always been made feel very welcome by Jerry and Martina and everybody else. And I suppose we all need to remember after all this is over that to go back supporting local businesses and lovely local pubs like Hearts in Riverstown. So I'm going to play a few tunes, and tonight I'm going to play I think nearly all Sligo tunes. I suppose it's nice to be able to feature what we have ourselves and the amazing musical talent. So the first reels are two that the first one would be associated with the playing of the fantastic and probably my favourite fiddle player of all time, James Morrison. Of course, James came from just outside Drumfane, and it's a lovely tune called Captain Kelly. And the second one is a tune that I would have learned from the playing of my grandfather, and it's a lovely tune called The Shepherd's Daughter. So we'll try these and see how we get on. Very much. A lovely old set of reels there. I think I've played at so many concerts over the years and in so many different places, all over the place, but it's such a strange experience. It's sort of playing into a screen, you know. It's I suppose it's a sign of how we have to adapt at the minute, but it's enjoyable to be able to play a few tunes. You know, you get tired listening to yourself in the house. It's nice if someone else is listening to you, even if it's in the house. So I hope you're enjoying it. Tonight's concert is sponsored by the great White Hag Brewery in Ballymote, and of course donations can be made to the Sligo-based charity, the Northwest Hospice, which is always very important to remember charities at this time as well. So a little bit of information for you. I'm going to continue on with another set of reels now, and a set I've been playing for many years, and definitely I just never get tired of the tunes. The first set, or the first tune, is a tune that I learned from the playing of Paddy Killoran, wonderful Sligo fiddle player from just outside Ballymoss. It's a lovely tune called My Love is Fair and Handsome. The second tune is a lovely tune that I learned from the playing of PJ Hernan, one of the most amazing accordion players ever. He's a man from Carna, near Carna, Roisin Namanach in Connemara, County Galway, but he's been living outside Gertrude for decades now. And actually the second and the third tunes are two tunes I would have learned from him. The second is The Maids of Mount Kisco, which is composed by Paddy Killoran. His wife worked in a laundry up in the Catskill Mountains, where I think so. I think they're in the Catskill Mountains anyway, Mount Kisco. So he composed a tune for her and other people who lived there or worked there, so the story goes. And the third tune is a tune that PJ got from Joe Duran, a lovely tune called Clancy's Fancy. So I hope you enjoy these. It's lovely to see so many people listening as well, and some familiar names. So thanks very much for joining us, and I hope you're enjoying it, and enjoy for the next 25 minutes or so. I'm going to continue on again now with a few jigs this time, just to make it a bit different. Two Sligo tunes again. The first one is a tune not terribly well known, a beautiful jig which was composed by a great flute player who came from just outside Gormley, County Sligo, a lovely flute player called Jackie Coleman, who was an amazingly stylish musician and composed some great tunes, and would have been a big influence on great players around that area like Peter Horn and Seamus Tansey and an awful lot more as well. And it's a lovely tune that I learned from a recording made years ago of Seamus Tansey and another lovely Sligo accordion player who actually only came from, I'd say, less than 2 miles from me here, and accordion player who came from La Valley called Alfie Jodini, who played a lot with Seamus for several decades. And it's a lovely tune called Farewell to Gertrude. And I'd follow that with a tune that I learned from a recording of a beautiful flute player who came from Curhover, just outside Ballymose, and that was John Joe Gardner. And he was an amazing musician, and would have been, he lived in Dundalk for many years and had a tremendous impact on the musical scene up there. And I have no name for it, but it's called, well, I call it John Joe Gardner's. So we'll try these now. And if you hear any mistakes, they were very much intentional. Thanks very much. They were two nice jigs. So I hope you're enjoying the music so far, and again it's so nice to see a lot of familiar names popping up on the screen in front of me. And any of the comments there, I'll hope to reply to them later. And I hope you're enjoying it and enjoying the music so far. And enjoying the lovely weather. We've been having lovely weather the last few days and nowhere to go, unfortunately. But still, it'd be worse if it's raining, I suppose. I'm going to continue on with, I have a little list here beside me now. I'm going to continue on. I'm going to take his ring too before I have a little list here. And yeah, we might play a few reels again. These are two reels that I learned from beautiful musicians who came from the village of Ballinafad, up beside the lovely Loch Arrow, just very near to the Roscommon border. And these were the McDonald brothers, very well known in their time, would have been visited by a lot of the big musicians of the 1960s and 70s, people like Matt Malloy and Joe Burke and Sean Maguire, and people of that calibre. And they were amazing musicians. Three brothers, Larry, Michael Joe and Paddy. Michael Joe played the fiddle and Larry and Paddy played the flute. And they had an amazing style of music. It was probably the most authentic Sligo music you could possibly hear. The well-known fiddle player from Ballinagar in Roscommon, Paddy Ryan, was involved in bringing out a beautiful compilation album. It must be nearly 20 years ago now, just simply called the McDonald Brothers of Ballinafad, and it's well worth listening to if you can get your hands on it. I'm not sure if it's still out there, but I'm sure you'll find it somewhere if you searched hard enough. But these are two lovely reels that I would have learned from them. And they would have been published in a book that myself and a great fiddle player and great friend of mine, Oisin McDiarmid, put together several years ago, called The Fiddlers of Sligo, which was an immensely enjoyable experience. And it gave us the opportunity to learn so much about Sligo and about the amazing music that was made and created for many years. The first one is The Temple House, and the second one is a very well-known reel, Last Night's Fun. And these are the McDonald Brothers versions. So thank you very much. there were two lovely tunes now that came from the McDonald brothers in Ballinafad, and I hope you're enjoying the music so far. I'm certainly enjoying myself. It's great to be able to sit down and play a few tunes, even if I'm just listening to myself. It's nice to know that there's other people listening rather than people coming in to tell me stop playing, which does happen on occasion too. What will I play next? I'll play another set of Jigs maybe. And the first one is a tune that was recorded by Michael Coleman. And I knew the year earlier now, and I've totally forgotten it again now, but I think it's about 19, I won't even say it now so I can't be sure, but a lovely tune called Jackson's. And Jackson was a famous piper in New York, a collector who was very prominent in Chicago, but Francis O'Neill would have collected quite a lot of tunes from him, and there's Jackson's Reels and Jackson's Morning Brush and all sorts of different tunes, but this is a Jackson's that would have came from Michael Coleman. I think I first heard it from great, probably one of my favourite accordioneers of all time, the great Joe Burke from Kildredeema and Loughrea. I was very lucky to be taught by Joe for many years, and it was always a great sense of excitement to make the journey down from here to Loughrea every second Saturday for so many years. And I remember in the very early 2000s, the Morrison Festival in Riverstown, and walking into a pub and hearing Joe Burke and Brendan McLinchy playing together, and it was just one of the most magical afternoons I ever spent. It was just phenomenal music. So the first one would have been a tune I would have initially heard from Joe, and would have explored further then through the playing of Michael Coleman. And after that is a lovely tune that came from the playing of another amazing Sligo fiddle player, a guy who came from just outside Tubbercurry called Tommy Cawley, who was also in New York. So many of the Sligo fiddle players made the journey across the pond and made and created great music in New York. And this came to me through a friend of mine in America, Marty Fatty, a wonderful piano player and a wonderful accordion player, who sent me lots of recordings of a great fiddler called Johnny McGreevy some years ago, who had recalled hearing Tommy Cawley played this tune in Chicago sometime around 1940. So it's amazing how the music transmits, how it was brought to Chicago and then the recordings can be sent back to Sligo again in decades later. It's amazing, and it's the wonderful thing about our music, I suppose. So I'll try these with Jackson's and Tommy Cawley's. thanks very much. I hit an old speed bump towards the end there, but sure, that'll happen from time to time. I'm going to play something different now. Sligo has had a wonderful tradition of polkas, and they've been nearly forgotten now. Nobody plays polkas too much anymore. And these are beautiful tunes that came to me from the playing of actually my great-grandfather, who was a man called Michael Sheridan, came from La Valley as well, who was an amazing melodeon player and a really old style of playing. He would have learned his playing around the turn of the century. And Seamus McMahona, who worked for years collecting music, came down, I think about 1974, and done an interview with him and recorded several tracks that I was lucky enough to get hold of some years ago. And these were two polkas that he played. And it's nice to play them for a change. The first one is commonly called McGowan's now, and it would be associated with the playing of Tom McGowan, who was the brother of Ted McGowan, who owned the famous Roisin Dove in Gurteen for many years, which I played in for many years too and learned a lot of music in it. And the second one is a tune that is called Mary Ann McGuigan's, and I know nothing about it at all, but it's a lovely tune. very much. They were a couple of Sligo polkas, McGowan's and Mary Ann McGuigan's. I think we're near enough at the end of our time here. It's been hugely enjoyable, and I hope you've all enjoyed it as much as I've enjoyed playing it. It's a great thrill to be able to play music for someone again. I suppose this time of the year we'd all be looking forward to a summer full of lots of music and meeting people and being at different parts of the world and the country, and I suppose it's going to be a very different summer, but it's great that we can use kind of cyber sources like this to spread and create a little bit of music. So a huge thank you to the White Oak Brewery for sponsoring this, and so many concerts. This is actually the 5th week of concerts that's been running in this series now, and I'm sure there'll be many more weeks to come. And a big chance to John Callanan, better known as John the Map, for technical support and putting this whole show together, and the show for so many other people. If you head over to the Swagman page, I think right about now, the great Oisin McDermott will be broadcasting with Samantha Harvey live from Coolani, and you'll be sure of some more great music there. So I'm going to finish up with a set of reels, and of course to mention as well that I can see that there's been great money raised for the Northwest Hospice there, and thanks very much for supporting such a great cause, and I'm sure everyone will continue to do so over the coming months and years, and we'll be back again for better times, and we'll all have to go to Hearts for a pint when all this is over. So thanks very much again, and we'll talk to you all soon. So I'm going to finish with a set of reels now. The first one is an old version of a well-known reel called The Tap Room, and it's a version that I got of a tape of a fiddle player who was basically unheard of and wouldn't have been known too much outside this area. A great fiddle player called Ned Killeen, who was an amazing player who came from just outside Riversdown. And it's a lovely version of The Tap Room that I learned from him. And after that, I'll play a reel that I don't have a name for. And when I was making my album a couple of years ago, Fiddling Without a Bow, I called it Sheridan's, as I had learned it from, again, that same tape I spoke of earlier with the polkas that Seamus McMahon made of my great-grandfather. So I'll finish up with these two reels, and thanks very much for tuning in, and I'll read all the comments later and reply, and I'm glad you all joined us. I think this is going to be on the page after, so you'll be able to rewatch it or share it or delete it or whatever you feel like. So thanks very much again, and we'll talk to you all soon, and thank you very much. Thanks very much for watching again, and we hope to meet you all soon. So thanks very much.